Hi there. Tomorrow, Tuesday, January 9th, Netflix is going to have a press panel at the Consumer Electronics Show for the upcoming adaptation of the Chinese sci-fi novel series Three Body Problem, with showrunners David Benioff and Dan Weiss at the panel. This is their first big public appearance since late 2019 in the aftermath of Game of Thrones Season 8, and indeed their last public appearance at all for the press since the disastrous Austin Film Fest panel in late October 2019. So, tomorrow, this press panel will mark the return of the Benioff and Weiss show. I'm not referring to Three Body Problem. I'm referring to the meta-level show that HBO put on for them as the propaganda promotion surrounding Game of Thrones, the media blitz, that they would run puff pieces in magazines and on late-night talk shows, hyping up these guys are geniuses. And when you saw Season 8, and it was so shocking how stupid they are that Danny kind of forgot about the Iron Fleet. They were always like that. If you went through the less circulated interviews, or they're acting like complete morons, like Oxford Union was a big one that's still on YouTube from right before Season 5. And the DVD commentaries where they're like openly drunk and crass and saying stupid mistakes they made. Like, if you looked closely enough, this is just they papered over. These guys are, polished a turd, that all of it was a marketing campaign. And in many ways, it's not just them, it's celebrity culture. It reminds me of how on Amazon that they really demonstrated on Amazon's The Boys, how Vought has this PR campaign to present Homelander as this really great person, and like, he doesn't even write his own Twitter feed. He has a team of, PR guys to do that. So I'm saying is the meta-level show of the media blitz of a corporation, now Netflix instead of HBO, is going to restart, and it's going to get weird. No other predictions than it's going to get pretty weird and infuriating. Well, as I thought this was, obviously going to happen, they need to get their money's worth out of this guy. I'm warning you all, if you thought this wasn't going to happen, it will. That you will see Netflix desperately trying to polish up what happened and present these guys as, this is a show from the geniuses that made Game of Thrones. And while we haven't had that media blitz up to now because of the writer's strikes delayed the premiere, this panel marks the official start of public promotion for Netflix's Three Body Problem, which cost $200 million just for the contract with Benioff and Weiss, and which they think will be their new big flagship show on the scale of somewhere between Stranger Things and The Crown. This is supposed to be a major thing. They bet the farm on this after canceling a lot of other shows. So the Benioff and Weiss show is going to start tomorrow. And maybe not, I don't know if they're going to put out video clips of this. It will be reported on, in the news. It's a press conference, not a public one, but the marketing campaign will ramp up for this. You will start seeing puff pieces on these guys. They will make the late night variety things, and you wonder, how could they make public appearances again? Remember after Season 5 when we were stunned that after things like the Sansa rape and TV during Season 5 was a terrible season, they just went through the motions again, and no one would talk about the elephant in the room. Because the access journalism system is set up. So I'm making this video to warn you guys about that, and also some general warnings for, if anyone's new here from Three Body Problem fandom, what you can expect. That these are things I wish someone had told us to expect when Game of Thrones began, that we kept thinking they have a different interpretation of this than we do, and it's they're rewriting it to show off actors or to pander for awards to further their own careers. That they didn't care about Game of Thrones or even about HBO. They jumped ship that we want to launch a movie career. So there's a specific pattern of things they did that you can tell, and just, I wish someone would give me a heads up that I wasted so much time trying to parse out why is Daenerys doing this when they want her to win it. They want Emilia to win an Emmy Award. And in many cases, the actors were arguing with them, don't do this. This doesn't make sense. for my character and they'd overrule them, they cared about no one but themselves as careerists, and they're also deeply incompetent. And just that this has come up over social media the past few days, that I'm seeing both ends of the spectrum, from people who insist they can't be back when, guys, this isn't, they haven't been promoting it, but this has been in the news for like 2 years. They're making Three Body Problem. The fact that you didn't hear about it doesn't mean you can put your head in the sand and say it isn't happening, that they aren't facing real consequences for what happened to Game of Thrones. They just went on to another $200 million TV contract. And at the other end of the spectrum are the people who insist, no, it wasn't there's still people saying it wasn't their fault, they'll do well on Three Body Problem. They won't, and I just want to address all that. And I'm doing this audio only as a long-form podcast. Obviously, you clicked on this, you can see it's long-form. I have about 7 scripted pages here to go through. Easier this way, just put it on in the background and listen to it. That's why I'm doing it audio, because I know it's long.